You know, my favorite thing about the movie is like it feels like a movie. It feels like a real go to the theater film movie that you kind of the reason why you go to watch something on the big screen.
What's up, guys? I'm Sully Streams. I post videos every week about which movies are actually worth your time and which ones are just hot garbage. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so you just keep adding to that never-ending watch list. And today we're talking about the new dystopian thriller, Don't Worry, Darling. All you need to know about this one is that Florence Pugh lives in this seemingly perfect little 1950s town. All the men go off somewhere and work all day, and all the women stay home and tend to the chores. But as our main character spends more and more time by herself, she starts realizing there's something strange going on where she lives, and begins questioning why she's actually even there at all. Now, we need to address the elephant in the room here for a second, because you can't really talk about this movie unless we also discuss the off-the-wall, crazy, bizarre behind-the-scenes drama that's been happening over the past month. It's been a lot to follow, so I hope you're ready for your 10-second recap. Okay, here goes nothing. So Olivia Wilde said that she fired Shia LaBeouf from the movie. Then Shia LaBeouf came out and said that he quit from the movie and that Olivia Wilde is lying. Then Florence Pugh said that she's not going to do any press for the movie in Venice because she was mad at Olivia Wilde for having an affair with Harry Styles. And then Harry Styles looked like he spit on Chris Pine during the Venice premiere. Now, when I tell you I have been absolutely eating this shit up, I mean it. I probably spent like 10 hours on Twitter the day this movie premiered at the Venice Film Festival. At this point, I've said it a bunch of times. I want a movie about the filming of Don't Worry, Darling more so than I even wanted Don't Worry, Darling at this point. Let Christopher Guest have his way with this one and just do a mockumentary behind the scenes movie. We'd have a total banger on our hands. But in all seriousness, I've been looking forward to this movie for a long time, ever since it was announced, way before all this drama stuff was happening. I'm always down for a good dystopian thriller, then you throw this cast in the midst, I'm definitely going to be seated. But unfortunately, it felt like this one was just trying to do its best impression of a good thriller rather than bring anything truly new to the table. Like, all of the individual aspects that make this movie up are all decently solid when you look at them by themselves, but then when you put them all together, it ends up just being this kind of big familiar mess. Like, I kind of still enjoyed my time with this movie, but just know that it borrows a lot of aspects from a lot of different films that are much better than this one. But what can I say about Florence Pugh that hasn't been said already? She just continues to massacre every single movie role that she has. She's just so consistent. She's probably one of the most consistent actresses working in Hollywood today. She's honestly like the Mike Trout of Hollywood. No matter what the circumstances are, you know she's going to deliver something special to you. And you gotta give her props with this one because she really carries this one on her back. But the scene stealer for me was Chris Pine, which actually surprised me a little bit. But I've always been a pretty big Chris Pine fan ever since the Smokin' Aces and the Star Trek days, but I always just wish that he was in more stuff. Whenever he's given these like overly pompous and charismatic roles, he usually eats them up. And in this one, he gets to strut his stuff as like the cult leader that establishes this whole dystopian society, and he's right at home in this role and is definitely a bright spot of the movie. Now, for my hot take of the day, I didn't think Harry Styles was that bad. Shia LaBeouf would have come in and absolutely crushed that role, but Harry Styles didn't really detract from my enjoyment of the movie. He didn't necessarily add anything to the film, but he didn't take away anything from it either. He was passable, let's just leave it at that. This is honestly kind of like a bizarre situation because I feel like I liked this movie a little bit more than the score I'm gonna give it will show, but every time I sit down and think about the aspects of this film that I really enjoyed, they're all borrowed from more established and well-done movies than this one. And I'm not gonna go off listing all of the boatload of movies that share similarities with this one, because I might actually give some stuff away and we'll kind of just prepare you for what's to come with this movie. But just know that the safest examples are probably like The Stepford Wives, and The Truman Show. On the flip side though, this has just become the hot movie to hate on in the past couple weeks. Just like whenever this happens, it's not nearly as bad as everyone says that it is. At the end of the day, it's just a stale and repetitive thriller that has a script with really nothing to write home about. People will probably forget it even existed a couple years from now. Don't Worry, Darling looks really good on the surface and sets the stakes high from the very beginning. But unfortunately, in the end, it just doesn't have what it takes to back it all up with satisfying and unique results. Florence Pugh and Chris Pine, they do a great job here. They deliver some of the more memorable performances of their career, but there's just not enough substance in the script to make it all worthwhile. There are some good twists and turns along the way, but in the end it ends up just being way too familiar for its own good. It's a fine movie, but I definitely expected more here. Don't Worry, Darling gets a Sully score of 3 stars. So that's my review of Don't Worry, Darling. Let me know in the comments below if you're going to go check this one out or if you've already seen it already. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and I'll see you guys at the next video.